Thank you. I am Furukawa from the analysis team of NICT Cybersecurity Research Lab. Today I'd like to discuss RapperBot C2 operation and DDoS attacks. We are an analytical team, and here is a flow of how we analyze malware. Day in and day out, we monitor darknets, and we look at the IP addresses which are not used, and there are about 300,000 of them. When we understand that certain device is compromised, then we set up the device's honeypot. When exploit comes, then we research into the vulnerabilities that was exploited, ask the vendors, and also respond with some warnings. At the same time, we are able to obtain the malware, which can then be analyzed for the details. And I myself is responsible for this malware analysis. Today, I will discuss RapperBot, starting with what RapperBot is all about. Now, this is the DDoS attack mirror type of botnet. It is named from the embedded YouTube rap music address. Digital video recorders are the victim devices largely. In order for propagation, there are scanners. And depending on the types of scanners, there are 4 types of malware. In 2025, about 60,000 devices were infected. Ethan Waltz, 22 years old, who was running the operation, was arrested in August, and C2 server was also seized by DCIS. At the BotConf last year, I filed this report with you. The X failures which happened in March 10 was attributed to RapperBot. The large-scale bot came to the focus. So, running up to the arrest of faults, we analyzed the C2 operation in 5 months. So that's what I would like to share with you today. Here is my agenda. Now, malware analysis focuses on C2 surveillance with scripts. The second part would be C2 operation analysis, and the third would be analysis of DDoS attacks. Let's begin with malware. This is the RapperBot overall picture. The attacker sends exploit to loader server to IoT device to download the RapperBot. The victim device will become the part of the botnet. Out of 4 types, 3 will start scanning to find the next victims. Out of that, recon type or reconnaissance type does not infect directly, but rather sends the victim candidate device information to report server, and the infection starts from the loader server. From C2 server, DDoS command is launched. The botnet then launches the attack to the internet. This exploit portion, the target devices are predetermined. That is, without any device-specific responses, exploit will not be executed. Therefore, we set up the actual physical honeypot with the same device so that the timely acquisition of the updated malware becomes possible. First, this is a format of C2 protocol. The header is 12 bytes fixed, total size, data size, checksum, XOR key, and command number follow. Inside, in case of command 1, the victim device information. And thus, the most difficult parameter to monitor C2 would be argument. when the malware is run. This is set to identify the victim device types. This is something you understand only when you observe the actual exploit. So this part is the most challenging. As the command 1 is sent, command 2 is returned. This is a command to demand sending the proof packets to all the C2 servers. So bot tries to send the spoofed packets, which becomes impossible under the NAT environment. Therefore, C2 can understand whether the UDP AMP is attackable. Command 3 and Command 4 are beacon and keep alive. Command 5 and 6 are DOS attack start stop. There are other commands on the left, C2 to bot. On the right, bot to C2. Command 8 is a kill switch. From 9 to 13 are proxy functions. Actually, we have not received these commands. The remainder are the scanner reporting functions. And this is the attack command for DDoS. Now, there are 3 IP addresses. The target IPs can be set in parallel, multiple. So prefix can also set the subnet IP. This is the DDoS attack vector, meaning the attackable or type of the attacks that can be selected. RapperBot is Mirai-based, therefore, it is compared with the Mirai attack vectors on the left. Some vectors, as you can see, have been integrated. SymFlood and AgFlood can be set with options, therefore they are integrated as a TCP flood. DNS water torture attack is removed. HTTP attack is equivalent to TLS. UDP AMP attack is added, but unfortunately, the spoofed packet is not sent under C2 monitoring. Therefore, we have not been able to observe this attack. Attack options are similar. As you can see, the lines in the middle, numbers and the sequences are almost the same.
Now, this is a flowchart regarding C2 server connections. First, text record is obtained from DNS, decoded, and an IP list is created. So connections are made to C2 servers in the order from the top of that IP list. And if the connection is lost due to, for example, maintenance or some other error, IP address rotation occurs by connecting to the next IP in the order. Also, CT connections are managed such as if a certain random amount of time has passed since the last name resolution, the process restarts from the name resolution step. Now, there are several challenges before actually starting C2 monitoring. First is encryption algorithm. So DNS text records are encrypted in this manner, and the CT protocol also encrypted. So we need to be able to decrypt them. Once connected, information about the infected device is sent first. But in most cases, connections are successful without much worry, but parameters must be determined carefully to avoid being detected as a monitoring system. There's often handshake-like authentication, and both sides specs can be understood through analysis. The C2 side, however, is unknown, so in most cases, specs must be confirmed through trial and errors. Additionally, one must act according to the spec. Although a kill switch was never received in RapperBot, It might involve, for example, play dead for like 5 minutes. Also, beacons are always present and therefore mandatory. There are three, I believe, ways of decrypting. First, identify some characteristics to use the existing library. This is expand 32-byte K character, and so this is, we think, JSAC20 is used. In case of RapperBot, this was an original encryption algorithm was used, so this method was not applicable. The second method is to analyze everything and program it in your own preferred language. The third method is to use a decompiler to turn into C code and then modify it until compilation errors disappear. But that comes with some security risks. So I believe that the second approach is more conservative and therefore good. Once connected to the C2, command 1 is used to send information about the infected device. Device data is created, checksum generated, and excoded with XOR, and then sent to C2. Next is a part that relates to C2 communication. First, wait for a command for about 10 seconds. If it doesn't arrive, then disconnect and reconnect to the next IP address is what we do. So we manage a timer to send beacons. Lastly, this is the part that processes C2 commands. We first receive and parse the 12-byte header. There's a possibility that a large number of commands could be sent in if the monitor is detected or we get found out. And therefore, we decided to terminate if massive numbers of commands were received at once, but this never happened. Command data is then received and saved. So using that kind of monitoring script, we conducted an analysis. First, regarding user interface of the DDoS servers, the actual DDoS attack command contain some that reveal what the user interface looks like. The yellow portion is where the target portion is converted to ASCII code. 908 is backspace followed by 80. So a typo of 9. The intention was to delete that with a backspace, but it ended up in the command. The second example is a payload size option. Unnecessary null terminator following 1440 bytes exists, so suggesting the possibility that the user is inputting data using some kind of macro. So therefore, we imagine that the user interface is a console-based application. The third example is a GRE type option, IPv6. At a glance, this seems correct, but in reality, the ether type value must be entered in decimals. So 34525 would have been the correct input. But it doesn't support IPv6 to begin with, and so even if entered correctly, it would be replaced with IPv4.
ポートが5個設定されているんです。
Now, the last one is the sender port options. There were 5 ports set, and only the first port is effective. So it doesn't seem that they offer very good support in terms of how it can be used. Now, as for such speculations, we already know the answer. Now, let's talk about the details of the DDoS attacks. After April, the RapperBot launched more than 370,000 attacks against China, Japan, the US, Ireland, and Hong Kong, in that order in terms of the number of counts. The question is how to count the attacks. Our data set tends to be sizable after March. 40,000 attack command count. Victim IP counts 390,000, which is close to what is indicated in the article or the blog. The total attack duration is equivalent to 32 days. Now, this is a command. Parsing from the head, UDP flag with victim IPs 255, one option, and then followed by ID, attack duration of 60 seconds, followed by many victim IPs, out of which 229 are Japan, 26 the United States. This single command, therefore, attacked 229 victims in Japan, but UDP packets are sent to 255 IPs in a sequential manner, leaving only 0.24 seconds of attack duration per IP. So, using this time, we created the following statistics. First of all, this is the number of target IPs per command. 59% had only one, but 37% of them had subnet IP set. Therefore, overall, 55% of the time, a single target duration is shared by multiple target IPs. And this shows the breakdown by countries and regions. More than 40% China, including Hong Kong, more than 50%. Japan accounts for 3.8%. But there are some cases where the Japan region cloud is used from China. The attacked server types, sometimes we do not know, but majority appear to be the gaming-related servers in China. Now, attack vectors. The simple UDP flood is the most common, followed by TCP flood. TCP stomp, TCP data are the attacks of sending large amount of data after TCP connectivities, and they're rather common too. Now, let me talk about the details of the attacks. This is one of the common attacks. UDP flood. Target port is 27015. It's a game server's default port. Payload data would be T-source engine query. Game server information is requested by this query. And in the virtual machine environment, C2 is emulated. And when this command is run, in this way, UDP packets are sent repeatedly. Now, we set up a gaming server and see what happens. On the left are the authentic clients communication, and then the same query is sent to the server with the DDoS. Then the challenge number comes back, and the challenge number has to be added to be resent so that the server information can be obtained. On the right is a DDoS attack. For the first query, challenge number comes back, but second time on, the query is ignored. Because of the large number of attacks, the game servers are getting prepared.
Now, the next one is not a major attack, but it involves sending fixed data to a game server, even without any options. If you pay, the message in ASCII code is an extortion message saying pay $5,000 and we'll put you on a blacklist. This was removed along with the vector itself by the end of March, so it probably did not work well. Next one is a rather long command containing 36 target IPs. including some in Japan. But when we investigated, it turned out to be a Chinese gambling site using Google Cloud's Asia Northeast 1. Since it's said that these were used quite a bit to extort online gambling businesses based in China, and we do concur that that was possible. Next is the attack on X, which is a plot that we reported at BotConf. The upper plot shows the timing and duration of the attacks on X on March 10th. They're all 200 seconds. The lower plot is a availability plot, and you can see that it matches the attack timing shown above. Since RapperBot has already ended, we no longer expect the attack to come again, but we included the client hello fingerprint just in case. Since the signature algorithm portion changes randomly, part of the JA4 changes every time. Finally, this is the C2 communication as of August 6th. At 1349, all C2 servers stopped communicating. For some reason, it briefly resumed at 1436, during which time a single final DDoS attack was carried out. At 1450, the C2 servers stopped again, marking the end of RapperBot. To summarize, due to Force's arrest, the RapperBot C2 servers were stopped. But there was nothing done regarding the bots themselves. Vulnerable devices remain as are. So in order for root cause resolution, we have to reduce the number of devices that are vulnerable. Thank you very much.